Problems 7, 8, and 9 are the percent problems, and on your handout you're going to use the little formula that percent times base equals amount. And then you have to remember what I told you. The multiplication is always represented by the word of, and the equal sign is usually the word is or was, or something to that effect. So when I see what is 86% of 496, your percent is always the easiest thing to identify, because it literally has the percent sign on it, or it says what percent. And then we've got the of right here, which means to multiply. And we've got 496. So right there, I've got the word of between 496 and 86%. And then you've got the word is at the other end. Here's your is, so that's your equal sign. And then they're asking you for what? That's your amount. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, it's 86%, but that's 0.86. Of means to multiply. 496, that's my base. Is equals, and then your what. In class I always use a question mark, but you can put a variable in there if you want. So just to highlight, the what is the question mark. The is your equal sign. The of is your multiplication sign. And then you've got the percentage here and the base there. And since this is set equal to the question mark, all I have to do is multiply. Just take 0.86 times 496, and you should get 426.56, and that's the answer to number 7. Okay, now on number 8, 20 is what percent of what number? So once again, I would start with my percentage. There's the 90%, that's your percent. And then you see the word of, that's going to be your multiplication sign. And then it says what number of what number, that's going to be my base. And then I'll use a different color this time. For the word is, that's your equal sign. And how about purple? Is means equal the number 20. So percent, which you'll have to use 0.09. You have to change the 9 from its percent form to its decimal form. Of tells me to multiply. What number? I don't know. What is that number? Is equals the 20. And that is in the percent times base equals amount. That's that formula. So I've identified everybody with highlighters. Now, if 0.09 times some number equals 20, that means the number that I'm looking for is the same thing as 20 divided by 0.09. Remember in class I told you, I think I used the example of 2 times 3 is equal to 6. You can take any multiplication problem and create 2 divisions. If I multiply 2 times 3 and get the 6, I can take the 6, divide it by the 2 to get the 3, or I can take the 6 and divide it by the 3 to get the 2. So in this case, since I've got 0.09 times some unknown number and I know the answer is 20, I can take the answer of 20, divide it by the 0.09, and that'll give me the number I'm looking for. And 20 divided by 0.09 is 222 point, I think it keeps going, 22222, and I don't think I asked you to round, oh yes I did, round to the nearest hundredth. So it keeps going, 2, 2, 2, 2, keeps going. The nearest hundredth is this number right here, because this is tenths and then this is hundredths. You have to look at the next number. If that number is 5 or greater, that 0.22 becomes a 0.23. If it's less than 5, it just stays as a 22. So my answer is 222.22. All right. And then number 9 is another one of these. 940 is what percent of 1988? Okay, so what percent? That's my percentage. I'm looking for it. That's my unknown. Then you've got the word of. So that's to multiply. Of 1988. That goes there. And then at the other end is the is. That's the equal sign here. And then the only thing I have left is the 940. And that goes there. So this is percent times base equals your amount. And the is always your equal sign. The of is your multiplication sign. And I can tell that this multiplication comes between what percent and 1980. So I'm looking for a percentage here. Some number here times 1988 is the 940. And then just like on the last one, I'm actually going to figure out the question mark by switching my multiplication to a division. Take the answer, which is 940, and if you divide it by one of these two numbers, it'll give you the other one. So take 940 and divide it by 1988. And that actually comes out to be 0.4728370022. The directions said round it to the nearest the nearest hundredth, but this one's also a percent. So the first thing I have to do is multiply this sucker by 100 to put it in percent form. So when I do that, I'm going to get 47.28370022. And this is now in percent form. And now I'll round it off to the nearest hundredth, which is where the eighth is. The 2 is in the tenths, the 8 is in the hundredths. You look at the next number, it's less than 5. So my final answer here is 47.28%. And that is those problems.